really curious if anybody's had some oil stories this week. Anything that's worked for you, that you've helped somebody using an oil, or just a story you might like to share from this week.
I've got a story.
Great.
The Deep Blue Complex has helped some swelling in the back of my neck that's been going on for over 6 months.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. And Carrie, actually, at her house, I was telling Ron about how it would, if he takes it, it prevents the inflammation. And then I was like, why am I not doing this?
Yep.
And so Carrie insisted, you take two of ours right now. And sure enough, I've kept that up since being home, and that's been helping.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually have never taken that on a regular basis, but I have been for the last 2 weeks to help my knee. I take it at night before I go to sleep because my MCL is doing great in the day. I don't have any pain, but at night and about 3 a.m. it starts to act up. But when I take that before I go to bed, it doesn't. So I don't know. It can do lots of good for us. Any other oil stories that anybody would like to share? We got Tammy joining in. I have a hard time with silence. I have a hard time waiting in case anybody wants to share something. All right, I'm going to get started tonight. We're going to try and get a lot of good information in a half hour for you. My name's Shalene, and I forgot to ask somebody to introduce me, but I am someone who has been doing the oils for 7 years, a little over 7 years. Absolutely fell in love with them from the moment that I started using them. Was not planning on doing the business. I do the business, but I really just do it because I love to help people find answers. And it really makes my day. I'll tell you a little bit more of that when we're teaching the class here. But I have a large family, and the last little caboose is getting married in May. So we're excited to have all of our children married. We have a lot of grandchildren, and they live all over the United States, but we're just really thankful to have a couple of them that have moved nearby. So have a few grandchildren nearby. I love music. I love to create. And I have not been a natural gal growing up. I was not this detoxification and live healthfully and use natural things. My mom kind of encouraged it, and but none of us ever really knew how to use the oils or what to do with them. So when I got into doTerra 7 years ago and started learning and then helping educate other people, it's just been a true joy that I could have that little bit of knowledge that I'm gaining. I still feel loads behind even some of you who are better at studying and understanding maybe the science of the oils and things, but I truly love helping people, and I'm going to tell you about some of those people tonight. So we'll get started. I'm going to talk tonight about and share with you, and I'd love to hear your ideas too and people you've helped. So feel free to speak up or put something in the chat. So why do I do this? Why do I do doTerra? It's because I love helping people. I gave an enrollment to a friend about a week ago, and maybe 2 weeks ago. She's an older lady, and she had been an economics professor. She had tutored my Heidi and wouldn't let us pay her. And she was sitting next to me at church, and she was coughing and being so miserable. I've tried to share with her lots of times, and she just seems to not be interested. But she did lean over and say that she had used some of my On Guard soap, and could she buy some of the On Guard soap from me? And so as the meeting ended, I leaned over and I said, would you let me gift you a kit of oils? And it's just something I wanted to do. I wanted to thank her for tutoring my daughter, and I just wanted her to have the oils at her home. And she says, oh, no, let's talk about it. And I said, would you please let me gift you? And she took a deep breath and said yes. And so I ordered right away that night, and she got her kit, and I went over to do what we always do, is kind of help people with their new kit to get used to their oils and how to use them. Always there to answer questions for people. But this was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago that I ordered it. And in those 2 weeks, when I went to give her a little time to learn what to do with her oils, how to use a diffuser, and that, I gave her a little reference book. We're going to talk about that tonight too. She has contacted me 3 different times. She has asked questions. Her daughter is enthralled with what she has. She has put herself on the monthly order. I didn't even tell her about that or how that worked. She put herself on the monthly order and she's asking questions about product. Now, when I was there at her house, she said to me, Shalene, you have to be passionate about this to be a good salesperson. And I said, oh, I am passionate, but I'm doing it because I love to help people. And she said, I always wondered because, Joe has a good job at IBM. And I've wondered all these years why you're doing this. And I told her it was because I love to help people. And of course, there's some income too, but it's really for me about helping people. Anyway, it made me feel so happy that she finally got it. And she finally realized that I'm doing it to help people. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how doTerra has helped me and my family. And then some of the people, I'll try not to use names, who I have helped, that doTerra has helped, that I have had the opportunity of helping. Then I'd love to know some of the people that you might have helped, or some of the ways that oils have helped you. You could put them in the chat, or you could say them out loud. I'd love to hear some of those things. So when I first got started, my daughter had motion sickness and nausea a lot. When we were driving the car anywhere, she'd have to take Dramamine with her, and she was using it all the time. But we have Digestin. And so I made her a little roller bottle. I'm super frugal with my oils. So I would take an empty roller bottle, put about 15 drops of Digestin in, fill it with fractionated coconut oil, and then she would have her own roller bottle in the car to roll on her stomach. I could always smell it. So when she was putting it on, I always knew. And the next trip we took, she handed me the Dramamine and said, I didn't need this. The oil worked just fine. So there was one medication that we were able to get off. I'm going to turn my phone off there. So we were able to get her off that medicine. Then my younger girls had cramps that time of the month. And sure enough, put the roller bottle on of Clary Calm that we have, and they were able to not take medicine when they had cramps and pains. I have terrible allergies. I've lived here in Texas for 30 years. For 20 plus of those years, I have taken medicine every day to help calm the nose, help me not sneeze, help my eyes, help everything calm down. And when Dr. D on our team came up with an oil blend that helps with Central Texas allergies, which are the worst, he took 7 oils, and we have this wonderful blend of 7 oils. So what do? I put 2 or 3 drops in the roller bottle, add fractionated coconut oil, and I have my blend for my allergies. I'm able to roll it on in the morning if I'm being bothered. Sometimes 5 minutes later, my nose starts to, I'm going to sneeze again, and I put it on again. Sometimes it takes 3 applications within 15 minutes. My nose calms down, my body calms down. I don't need anything else the rest of the day. And quite often, I don't need anything at all the rest of the day. There's been so many days I haven't even had to use it when everybody else is sneezing and blowing. I truly believe these oils help our body get to homeostasis and get to a level to where they're able to be supported and not need the medicines, which is awesome. Okay, just a couple more. I'm prone to bronchitis. And when I do get it, the Breathe oil for respiratory has eucalyptus in it, all these wonderful oils that help open up your system. I've been so blessed to have Breathe in my life. I'm so thankful for that. And then for those who know me well, some of you know me well, and some of you kind of know me, and some of you don't know me at all. But I have been 100 pounds more than I am in most of my adult life. And I need to lose a lot more weight. And so I know I have a long ways to go, but I had surgery about 2.5 years ago to remove some skin because I had lost some weight, had all those babies, and I just wanted to get rid of some of the skin around my belly. But I knew right where the doctor was going to cut, and I had a bust lift at the same time. So I knew right where he was going to cut everywhere. And I used the best oils for the skin. I used them everywhere I knew the doctor was going to cut. I used them for a couple of weeks. And when I had the surgery done, it was one of the hardest things I've gone through, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm so glad I had it done. But my skin healed really well. And I was able to, hold on, let somebody in here. I was able to use the myrrh The Immortelle is the one that's best for the skin, but it's quite expensive. And I can tell you a lot of tricks tonight because Immortelle comes in a 10 mil roll-on. I took that, I put half of it into another roll-on, filled them both with fractionated coconut oil. So even though Immortelle is really expensive, I was getting the benefits of it, but it was diluted to the point that I was getting 2 bottles for the price of 1, and it still got tons of benefit for my skin. And I still use Yarrow Palm for my skin. I put it on where my scars were all the time. I'm just constantly using the oils that are best for the skin. I've used them on my face as well. There's skin products. There's just so many things. Just love it. So those things, and I could go on and on, have really helped my family. And then there's a few other people that I've helped, and I say I've helped. Oh, I shouldn't even say that. doTerra has helped them. I've just been kind of the person that's guided them to find what they need. But without saying names, I've helped somebody who had major stomach issues and is now just doing so much better because we have lots of oils that help with that. I have a friend whose overall health was the worst her doctor had ever seen, he said. And she brought the blood work paperwork of when she was so bad. And she really got on the healthy supplements and all the things that doTerra has to offer, including oils and supplements. And then she went to see the doctor, and she brought, as she shared with all of us, the paperwork that showed she had a near perfect blood screen that had everything on it, because she was just using the things that were natural and the body wasn't having to detoxify from other things. And I'm just really happy for that friend that had that experience. So when I first started, I heard this story of a friend of mine whose husband was having tennis elbow. And she said, well, I know lemongrass helps with tennis elbow. So he was putting lemongrass on his elbow, and he happened to be diabetic. And so he tested his blood a lot, and he got reports from the doctor a lot. And there was one time that the doctor called, which isn't usually a good sign. And he called and said, your cholesterol numbers have just gone way down, and I've got to know what you're doing differently. And he said, well, the only thing I can think of that I've done differently is I've been putting this lemongrass on my elbow. I literally have exercised the same and eaten the same, and everything's the same. So they researched a little bit and found that lemongrass helps with cholesterol. So the fun thing is, I've shared that story so many times, and a friend of mine who was, I think, around 65 or 66 at the time, she said she had been on cholesterol medicine for the last 20 or 30 years. Her doctor said, doesn't matter what you do, your cholesterol will never go under 200. You've been on this medicine. We've done everything we can do. So she took to heart what I said. We took lemongrass, the cheapest oil there is, $10 a bottle for wholesale cost. We diluted it into roller bottles for her so that she could put it on the bottoms of her feet every morning and every night. She called me about 2 or 3 months later. She was just leaving the country for a long-term time to be out of the country. And she said, Shalene, my feet are a little yellow from the lemongrass. But she said, my cholesterol went down under 200 for the first time in 20 years. And the doctor was amazed. Cheapest oil there is, putting it on the bottoms of her feet, morning and night. That felt so good. So happy for her. So happy for her. Another friend who has very crippling arthritis, and we have a deep blue rub that, I should look closer. Deep blue rub, where they've taken the deep blue oil and they've infused it into a rub. It's kind of like an icy hot, if you haven't tried this yet. And he put this on his hands while he was here sitting at my kitchen table. And he went like this. And he said, I'm not leaving here until I have some of that. He got so much relief from deep blue just for arthritis in his hands. Now, when I share these stories with you, it's doTerra that did the magic, but what a joy to be able to bring relief to people. Another friend, she had Raynaud's disease, and I didn't know what that was, didn't know how to spell it, didn't know how to help her with it. I felt quite lost. My husband happened to be with me at the time that she said it, and he grabbed my book. He knew how to spell Raynaud's disease, and he looked up in the book Raynaud's disease, and it said cypress. And cypress oil is good for circulation. And I happen to have it, so I gave her a little bit to try. She called me the next morning and she said, I am getting the first relief I have had in 20 years. Because she was able to get some relief with the cypress oil. It was a little strong for her, and I was really early on. If I were to do it again, I would make sure that was diluted in fractionated coconut oil. But she had great relief and ended up getting a lot of help from that. My mother was, I think, about 86. Jenny, do you remember how old Mom was when she had broken hip? I can't remember, but she passed away last year and she was 90. I think she was about 86, maybe 85 when she broke her hip. But she was so into the oils. She had us put birch and wintergreen, lavender, and deep blue rub on her broken hip every day. And she got a lot of help from that. And we all thought when she broke her hip, we all thought, this is it, you know, elderly person breaking their hip, that she's going to be gone. And she bounced back like none of us could believe. Quite surprised that she bounced back.
I will just say that she had me put oils in places I never knew my mother would have me put oils.
Okay. Well, she loved her oils, didn't she?
And people would say the physical therapists and the nurses and people would come in and they would say, how are you? This is amazing. And she'd have it to being diffused. Oh, she just made a big deal out of it.
Yeah, she loved sharing her oils too, but she had a lot of support. I have another friend who I shared a lavender roll-on. You'll hear me say this a lot tonight, because to me, a roll-on was a way that I could stretch the use of my oils and make it so that I could use it easily because it's in a roll-on ready to put on. And I shared a lavender roll-on with a friend, and she said, my husband used it on his feet and he is no longer using a sleeping medicine. Now, for those of you who are really familiar with doTerra, you know we have lavender that helps. We have vetiver, cedarwood. There's quite a few oils that you might suggest. Serenity is a blend of oils of a lot of these that we quite often suggest for sleeping. Lavender is just one simple single oil. And with that oil diluted with fractionated coconut oil, her husband was able to get off his sleeping medicine. That brought me great joy. Just another check. Medicine's gone and able to use something else to help sleep. So I've helped multiple people with energy and stamina using the lifelong vitality. And you'll hear anybody who does doTerra, the lifelong vitality it's their vitamin pack, but it's so much more than vitamins, because on the little pill in the middle, they've put the best oils for us. So we get oils internally, and we get not chalky vitamins that are hard, that have a hard time disintegrating in your body and getting used, but real whole foods. And they're in little, what are they called? Somebody help me. Capsules?
Excuse me,
Huh?
Sash. Yes.
Capsules.
Hey, Shailene.
Yeah.
Yes, capsules. Some people know that I have medical problems and some people don't. And in the process of dealing with that, I'm learning a lot about nutrition and use a lot of supplementation. And I've tried a number of different vitamin combinations and multivitamins and that sort of thing. And I am able to use the doTerra Lifelong Vitality Pack independently and not be any worse for wear. And those of you who don't know, I deal with debilitating fatigue. So the fact that it doesn't make the situation worse is a good thing.
Is amazing. Yep. Anybody else have something they might like to share about ways oils have helped you or your family?
Well, Shalene, you know, I've talked about, excuse me, my mom with her cancer. And we got her on the Vitality. And people were just shocked about how amazing she looked after her cancer, being on the Vitality, the lifelong Vitality. And then you were talking about the sleeping. That's what sold my mom. She was on sleeping medicine that they had to take her off because she's 84, almost 85. And they told her she couldn't take her sleeping medicine. And she was only sleeping for like 3 or 4 hours. And I gave her some Serenity capsules and then also some Serenity to use. And the first night she slept 8 hours and she was just like, okay, what is this miracle stuff you're giving me? And that was what we started her with. And when Leanne came, it was when I was just barely starting to sell. And Leanne came over and had her, like with the deep blue, you said, she put deep blue on one of my mom's hands. My mom didn't even realize about her hands. And she was like, can I have some on the other hand? While we were just sitting there to try it, to let her try. And so it is just amazing how it does. And my husband is a cancer survivor also, and he had his prostate removed. And just with his issues of the energy you were talking about, lifelong vitality just was amazing for him because of his energy issues. He's not able to take the testosterone that he had before, and having the lifelong vitality and then the Mitomax. He owned his own business and he's able to work a full day plus. To be able to do that was just amazing, where before, whenever he had his cancer removed, he could only work not even half a day. So to find those has been amazing for us.
Yay. I just love hearing those stories. Oh my goodness. So you hear all these stories and you probably think, Shalene, you were going to talk about how to help someone with essential oils. I wanted to share some ways that they've helped me and my family first. And then I wanted to just share with you a few ways that I feel like you can help somebody else. You can help yourself. Everything I'm going to say you can do to help yourself. Or if you happen to have somebody in your life that you want to try to help with something, please do. When I hear through the grapevine, so-and-so joined and they tried it and had this, but then I shared it with my aunt and my daughter and my mother and this and that. And I'm like, oh, it just makes me so happy to know there's even more people out there getting help. So that's what I'm hopefully going to encourage you to do as we talk about some ways to do that. So if you sample somebody, quite often I'll give them a roll-on. I'll put a little bit of a sample in it, maybe not the whole thing, and I'll give them a little bit to try. I've done that for years. I've used little drams to give them actual oil if they want to put it in a diffuser. I've given away little veggie caps so they can use some of the oils that say supplemental facts on the back to try taking them internally. I've shared in lots of ways, but sometimes it's hard to just get somebody to try something consistently and to use it consistently so that they get relief. So it's kind of fun to tell some of these stories because I'm just leaving out names and it doesn't matter if I share these stories. But I'm in church just this last Sunday and there's a young woman, she's getting a drink at a drinking fountain and I'm passing her. And I was just like, you always look so elegant and beautiful. And she comes up and she's sneezing and she's coughing and she's blowing. And I was like, oh, that was not the right time to give her that compliment. But she said, yeah, it's just allergies. It's just allergies. So I pulled my allergy blend out of my purse to give her. And she went, are you going to give me essential oils? And I said, yes, I am. She said, your daughter Heidi gave me some a long time ago and they didn't work. And I said, well, let me give you a little bit of instruction this time and see if I tell you about how to use them consistently and how they've helped me. And I haven't had to take any allergy medicine for the last 5 years. Love for this to work for you too. And then just as I said that, her mom walked up and her mom has not been interested in the oils at all either. So I felt a little hesitant. And I share that with you because we're all going to run into that. We're all going to run into people who they say it doesn't work. They may have tried an oil that is not doTerra, that's not as powerful, that's not as pure. And they may have even had a negative experience. But I've been very, very pleased that the number of people I try to share with, they come back. I have them come back later. You know, you told me about this and I'd really like to try it now. So I'm going to encourage you to just keep trying to share because you're going to change some people's lives when they're ready for it. And of course, I'd never want you to go pushing anything on anybody. I try so hard not to be pushy. I try and do it just when people are ready for it. Hey, Becky, I just saw your chat message about diluting Immortelle. I think it does dilute the aroma a little bit because it is very strong. It's got a lot of strong oils in there. It's not my favorite smell. And I find that about a lot of oils. There's a lot of oils that I'm like, yeah, this is not my favorite smell, but I know it's good for me. Like putting frankincense under my tongue, because a lot of people do that every day just to take a little bit. It is not my favorite taste. It's not, but I know it's good for me. And so taking citrus in my water every day is a lot easier because I don't mind that flavor. So sometimes we have to do things that aren't good for us or smell things that aren't good for us just because the oils are good for us. So, I love roll-ons. And I have roll-ons, and all the time I've been doing it, I buy them in bulk and I have them available for all of you, anybody that wants to get them from me at cost, so that you don't have to buy 144 of them to get the good price. So I was about to prepare this lesson, about to say how it got 7 for $2. And then I thought, gee, I haven't bought any in a long time. I should look up and see what the price is so that I can tell you the right price. And you know how the cost of everything is going up? I have to say 50 cents a piece now, which breaks my heart because they were more like 27, 28 cents a piece. But so I have them in little boxes that are 8 for $4 if you'd like some roll-ons. That's what I do. But I also keep sprays on hand, and I get those for between 75 cents and $1. And I keep reference books on hand that I got very reasonably priced too, $5, because I bought a whole bunch of them at a time. So if you have somebody you'd like to share with, and you want to share a few roll-ons or a few sprays or a reference book, and I wanted to show you the little reference book too. These are called, we call them A to Z guides. They're called A to Z guide because they just kind of go through carpal tunnel syndrome, concentration, cold sores, acid reflux, back pain, and they just give suggestions of some oils to try. And so even a little book like this, which I have in bulk, I bought for $1 a piece. So if you're interested in some of these to share with people, I gave one of these to a friend once, and within her first probably 3 or 4 orders, she ordered $500 worth of product. She had just gone through the book and went, I want help for that. I want help for that. I want help for that. And so you'll be amazed at how these reference books can help you. This book has everything in blue is an ailment and everything in orange is an oil. So if you want to look up an oil to say, what does this oil do? You can look up the oil. And if you want to look up an ailment, it will suggest a lot of oils. That doesn't mean you need all the oils to fix the problem. It means try this one or try this one and see what will best help. But this book sometimes will even give you unusual recipes or unusual protocols is probably the right word to try. And so it's a really cool way to help somebody with some issues. One time I had somebody who had some sleep issues. I was able to put a few drops of Serenity with water into a spray bottle and just give that to them, and just spraying it on the pillow and the blankets or a roll-on. You can put the roll-on and say, put it on your wrist and smell it as you go to bed, or a dram, put it in a diffuser. You get the drift. You can put it in the air. You can put it in the diffuser. You can put it in a roll-on and put it on your skin. And then there's the Serenity capsules that they've made for us that are a little different than the oil, but they give such natural relief to help sleep. So you can see how you can kind of find out what somebody needs help with and come up with a few ways to help them if they're ready to try it. Okay, a few more things. So I love an app that I use, and I just did this with Tammy right before the class started. So Tammy, I hope you don't mind. I'm not going to tell them what you needed help with, but I use a little app that's called EOE Books. Let's see if I can get it to show you. EOE Books. It's probably backwards, but it's EOE Books. And I think I may have paid for it. It was just $4 or $5, but I've had it for forever. I hit main menu. I hit health concerns. And then for me, maybe I could say I'm just going to do acid reflux because that's right here on the front. And I say yes to acid reflux, and I hit a little dropper. And then it goes to a protocol and it lists the oils. The oils in green are the ones you could use most of the time. They help people. Then the next color is, these are some that people have had help with. And then the next color is, and a few people have had help with these oils too. Gives you lots of ideas. So if you have oils, you can try it. And then it tells you what to do, how to use them, how to take them, how for infants, how to help them with this. Pretty cool. But what I love about my iPhone is I can go like this and I can take a picture of that page and then I send that text to somebody. It's a super cool way of having answers with oils right with you. And you can go for answers for yourself or answers to share with somebody else to help them. So that's a fun one too. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you was getting over objections. Have you ever heard somebody say, these oils are just too expensive? Heard it over and over and over again. But you,
Aunt Colleen.
yes, I've heard her say it too, generally. So you can get a beautiful set of oils for $150. And now that amount is seeming less and less all the time with the way our world is going. And then I'm thinking of the doctor visits that you don't have to do, the medicines you don't have to do, the copays you don't have to do for handling simple little things. And that money is saved like that. And then, as frugal as I use my oils, they last me and last me and last me because I'm just using a few drops at a time and adding fractionated coconut oil. So when somebody says they're too expensive, I'm like, I think they're the most reasonable price thing there is out there for natural, non-toxic help. What if somebody says there's just not enough science behind this? You don't know what you're doing. I've heard that one over and over and over again too. What would you say if they say that?
What do you say?
I have had it said so many times and I didn't know what to say, but doTerra has come out every convention with more and more information like you would not believe, with here's the research here and here's the research papers here and here's the clinic here that's done this research and here's the papers here for this research. There's so much research out there. We have Dr. John on our team. He's going to teach next week and he loves the science end of things. And he even called and got in touch. Maybe Leanne, you can tell us who it was he talked to. It was one of the scientists at doTerra. She was a lady.
Yes. She's like the lady.
Yeah, and she's got curly cute hair. Stevens, yes.
Dr.
And
Stevens.
she's amazing. And John just called her a doctor and got some answers from her directly, which is amazing. And what a cool, oh, yeah, Becky's putting stuff in the chat too. If you want to read some PubMed on essential oils. I saw an article in Costco magazine about the benefits of essential oils. It's becoming more of a norm. And if you can just find a few, if you ever want to go to learn some science, there's a web page. Oh, I forgot to put it in my notes. aromaticscience.com is a doTerra's webpage, and I promised myself I'd never go there again. So welcome to go there if you want to go there. But I've just not got a sciencey brain. So I went there once, saw what was there, and said, more to your power if you want to go there and understand the science behind the oils. But doTerra has provided it for us. It's just not my thing. And so I don't sound very smart when I'm trying to explain, yes, we have scientific research, because I don't understand it. I just know they work, but there is tons of research and there's tons of background information for you and your friends that have that. What if somebody says to you, these oils just don't work? It happens all the time. I quite often say, what kind of oils have you used? If they're not doTerra, that's an easy way to say, you haven't tried a pure oil. You've been using something that's meant to smell nice. Sometimes I'll say, you haven't maybe been consistent with it. Quite often, some people will try something one time and say it didn't work, but it takes consistent use to make it
I have
work.
to make sure I'm on mute. And
Yes, you do, Jenny. Okay. So the very last thing before we talk about BOGOs, because I'm going to tell you some announcement they just made today, is talk about with your friends detoxifying their lives, because that's going to help them want to try this. Detoxifying your life through the use of cleaning your house, On Guard cleaner, a boat cleaner now, lemon in your water every day, detoxifying your body. I make my perfumes and I use all natural oils. My favorites are, keep them right here, Motivate and Cheer. Those are two blends of mine that are my absolute favorite, and I use those for perfume. I also use Rose Touch sometimes. Hair products help me detoxify because I'm only using doTerra's hair products, skin products, deodorant, and what I'm putting underneath my arms in a sensitive place is I'm putting something that is non-toxic, that I don't have to worry that I'm hurting myself. I'm only helping. So share with your friends about detoxifying and how these products can help you do that. I know this is kind of an unusual lesson tonight, but I wanted to just say, share the goodness so what you love about the oils can be loved by everybody else too. And hopefully that will encourage you to do that. And if you need help or you need questions answered, you all know I'm here and I'm a text away. I just wanted to tell you about the BOGOs tomorrow. We've got doTERRA is just never ceases to surprise me because BOGOs have almost always been a Monday through a Friday or a Monday through a Saturday thing. And today they decided BOGOs are starting tomorrow and they are doing a BOGO box. What it means is, I didn't count how many. Man, there's a lot of them. Let me share the screen with you. So what it means is every day for a while, there will be a pairing of oils. If you buy this, you can get this free. And in the past, we just never knew what was coming up. And every morning we would get up and say, oh, I wonder what it is today. Sorry, I should have had this up already. So you didn't have to go through my crazy world of pictures. Okay, so here's the pictures. And they've never told us before exactly what was going to be in the BOGO box. We've never even known. So for the first time, they're letting us know, here's what's in the BOGO box. The only thing we don't know is the following day, they'll say something like, buy lavender, get tea tree free. And the next day they'll say, buy peppermint, get On Guard touch free. You know, they'll do those things every day, but they've put it all into a box that will be good tomorrow. And they've said, you can get this whole box. And if you do, the citrus bloom comes for free. So that's just a freebie when you buy the whole box. But you get the adaptive capsules and oh my goodness, beautiful is another one I love to use for my perfume. But all of these wonderful oils. I don't want to take time to talk about each one tonight. If you want to take a picture of the screen right now to see what's here, then you could even look up and say doTerra Adaptive and doTerra Beautiful and just find out what each of these is good for and if the BOGO box is something that's right for you. The BOGO box, this is a crazy price, you guys. The BOGO box, of course, if you bought it retail, but none of you would do that because you're all enrolled, it would be $195 retail. This wholesale is $146.50, which is 137.5 PV. For those of you who've been getting orders through doTerra monthly and you're at 30% of points that you get back, this is again the frugal way I like to live because I get these points back after ordering for so long. That means I'm going to be getting about 40 points, $40 back in free points and end up paying about $100 for all of this. That is quite the deal. So just if the BOGO box is right for you, this is awesome. But this month they're doing a spend $150 to enroll and you get a deep blue rub and a bottle of deep blue oil, which together is like a $70 value. So if you know anybody that wants to enroll, they also can enroll with the BOGO box tomorrow. So they only spend, they buy the BOGO, they only have to spend 12 more PV to get over 150, and then they get this $70 worth of free too. It's an amazing deal. I didn't figure out how much it would all be worth, but that's quite a deal. So share with people, and if they're ready to enroll and you need help, please let me know. And if you have suggestions about classes, I would love to hear that too. I plan them out a couple months in advance.
Elaine,
Yeah,
I have just some other things about the BOGO box.
go for it.
For one, if they enroll with the BOGO box, their fee is waived. So that's a big plus. And another new thing that they're doing is so tomorrow the BOGO box will be available, but the next day, all of the pairings will be available the same day.
Yeah.
So that's the first time they've ever done this. And I'm really
know.
excited because shipping has always been really annoying when they do it each
Every
day
day.
separate.
Yeah.
So
that
it's
way
really
you could say, I want two of these, and get it up over 100 and get free shipping. Yeah. And that's another thing. The BOGO box is free shipping because it's over 100. So there's no shipping. And so you're right. The waiving the $35 fee to enroll as well as free shipping. Quite the deal. So anyway, just love helping people. And this is a great time to do more of that. And next Tuesday, guys, Leanne's husband, Dr. John, will be teaching us, and he's doing a class that he's calling doTerra and something about duct tape. What was it?
oils are like duct tape.
That's what it was. Oils are like duct tape. They can fix anything. No, it's this, they can't fix anything, but they can support your body. Thought that was a fun title. So doTerra, maybe oils from a man's point of view, which is going to be kind of unusual. We love having John on our team, not only for his science expertise, but because he's gives us the male perspective as well. So we hope you join us next Tuesday night. Thank you for coming, guys. And we will let you go and stay on if you're interested in our 10-minute business class. So glad you're all here tonight.